My name is Naturalee Puou, but on campus my students know me as Kumu ʻIlima. I am a 2006 graduate of Nānākuli High and Intermediate School where I work at right now, and this is currently my 3rd year of teaching. And so when I finally made it as a Kumu, when I finally made my degree and I finally could say that, yeah, I did it. I was the first one in my family to earn that palapala. I had to really ask myself, what is your platform? What does it mean for you to be just a miss in the classroom versus a Kumu? So when I came into my classroom, the first thing I told myself is I'm going to honor the sources that I come from. I go in Nana Ike Kumu in every possible aspect. And so I thought of who my most influential teachers were, and that's who you see on the walls. And whether you are Kane, Wahine, or anything in between, the story of Kahaloa Puna has a lot of important lessons that we're going to look at. My passion for moʻolelo and storytelling actually stemmed from a place of anger, but nobody wants to stay angry, yeah? So instead of feeling bitter about the fact that, oh my God, I gotta pay money out of the nose to learn more about this, no, you're paying money out of the nose to be notified that you have access, that these things exist. Your job is to keep digging on your own outside of that. Now that you're not ignorant of the fact that it's there, what can you do to kind of figure out how to use it now, yeah? Because one of the things I try to tell my students is that we're not dead. Hawaiian's not dead, we're still here. So we gotta stop looking at our culture, we gotta stop looking at our literature as if it's past, as if it's done already, you know? So that's where my passion for storytelling comes from too, is we're still here. These stories have managed to survive, you know? And we gotta remember it's from an oral culture, or oral tradition, but somehow they survived. So why are we gonna let all of that work and passion that went into making sure these oral traditions got written down if we're just gonna look at it from an outside perspective? How can we dive into that moʻolelo and bring it to the forefront so that we can start strengthening our identity as Kanaka? Every single student that walks into this room is an ongoing moʻolelo of their ancestors. That is the current story today. So who does this person come from? What does their roots look like? What is their foundation? And if the foundation is weak, what can we do to add more pohaku to that, you know? What is this moʻolelo's outcome going to be? Once you help them realize that they are part of an ongoing story, even though the adults that they're with right now may be giving them information or a perception that they're not wanted or they don't matter, being able to tell them that, you know, they're not the most important people right now. I need you to know that you have ancestors that knew you would be here. They knew you were coming. They had hopes for you. So in that sense, you belong to this story. And you have more power than you think you do, yeah? There's so much that we can get out of moʻolelo, understanding our identity, being able to reclaim what our power looks like on our terms, and feeling okay with looking at the world and trying to make sense of it on your own terms. So I want to give you an opportunity if you want to change that. I can give you a fresh one if you want to start over.
No, I'll just redo it on here.
You sure? They usually end with ly at the end, so make sure you can double underline that one. That's an example of an adverb. Okay. I make this joke, but I mean it. My students are my most valuable crop. I never create the seed, you know, I certainly didn't plant it, but I'm helping to malama and raise them for the harvest, whatever they choose to do after this, yeah. Whatever they choose to fulfill their lives with. Being a Kumu, understanding that it's all about the collective, yeah. You're going to be willing to take on their teachings as well. And I think that's something that a lot of teachers who don't understand what it's like to be a Kumu, or who don't understand what it's like to learn as a part of a Native and Indigenous community, that kind of goes over their head a little bit. In our practices and in our ways of teaching, like I said, that's moʻolelo too. I had to watch, I had to observe, I had to be taught, you know? And so I took those teachings and here I am applying it. That's moʻolelo right there too. And unless you can look at yourself and you can honestly appreciate even the little things about you as an asset, you know, as a Kumu in that classroom, you can turn anything into an asset, and it just allows you to be more accessible to your students. And so from all of these Kumu that I put up on the wall, I think the biggest lesson I learned was humility from all of them. And I feel like I still got a lot more work to do in that area, but as long as I nana ike Kumu, yeah, I stick to my foundations, and I think I'll be all right.